I thought I'd come live and I'd share a little bit of a thought process that has probably more than likely been going through a lot of people's minds. Now, yes, we are in the month of October, and energy is very fluid. And I think sometimes, really, a lot of metaphors and a lot of psychic downloads have been coming through to me. Um, Definitely over the years, I have learned a great deal to do with social media, and this profound thought came to me. And it was really the awareness of energy, astrology, ascension, all of those beautiful things. But a very separate circumstance, which is where we actually share these energies, but sometimes don't quite understand where they're coming from. So the logic behind this was very much the thought process of sharing such. I remember thinking back to the fact that I didn't want to use social media as a dear diary any longer. And that came through to me, I would say, back in 2012. I became extremely mindful of the way I use social media. But there's also that very separate energy that is sharing an experience. Can just be listening to something that a person is going through. Could be a quote, might be a mindset, and directly we can always leave that circumstance with a bit of food for thought and information. Now, at the moment through the transits, some of you may be feeling very low. Okay, very low, very unmotivated. Potentially almost like everything. I call it the sands through the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. So the depression can be really reflecting back on hopes and dreams and things that didn't quite come full circle. It can be a thought that there's nothing really to look forward to. And I know these sound like really dreary kind of emotional things, but it is particularly because of our sun's position. Now, in cycles. We're going through a brand new cycle experience. And with Venus at the moment, it's going through its ending cycle in the house of Scorpio. And, to go through that cycle, it is an awful long time to do such, and it's around 251 years. So, this is quite a big shift collectively in the area of Venus. And it's almost like, especially because it does tend to be in its detriment in the house of Scorpio, but at the same time, those that do have Scorpio in their Venus house or, in their star sign quite heavily, especially North Node or South Node, this is something that you guys will be more so accustomed to, which is death and rebirth. So, yes, it can link to, the real gruesome, the real gruely things. And Venus can be divine feminine energies. We're definitely seeing those themes coming up in the media to do with the more taboo areas of life that maybe we didn't want to broach, but they are now coming up on social media. So it can be, feminine energy is really sticking up for themselves in some shape or form. But old cycles, old belief systems we had really having to go by the wayside. At a very personal level, this can feel like you're shedding skin like a snake, and it can feel quite psychological to a degree. We did over the weekend have the moon transiting from Gemini over to Cancer. So again, it's almost like this hermit mode. It's feeling like you're quite tired and you're needing to recover as we do move towards the end of the month. We will have Mars in the house of Gemini retrograding. And that for us can make us even further tired. A lot of up in the head, potential headaches. It's almost like your intuition can be going a little bit crazy. And there is a point where we do need to reflect upon certain pain body experiences. It could be missing a loved one that you had, or it might be hope and dream not, working so well. It could be fear-based frequencies to do with your finances. It's all very, very individual. And I didn't really want to niche it into one particular area. It's more the vibration that we are going to be feeling at a very personal level that I wanted to share with you. So if this is something that is coming up for you, I would say really journal. Give yourself the ability to think on it, but try to not stay there too long. It's okay, and it is going to come through in ebbs and flows. But like I said, if you can, shake it off a bit, sit with it for a little bit. It is an ending, so to speak. But yes, that really heavy frequency can be coming through at this point in time. Very separately, things can be picking up as we do move forward. We probably won't see the full new cycle coming through until around November, December, more so on a brighter note towards December. But at this point, if you are having those ebbs and flows and feeling very unmotivated, like everything is doom and gloom, I'm not saying it is natural, but it's part of the process. So if you have that in mind, at least we can say, hey, the gods aren't crazy. We're not alone on that notion. Just be in awareness of it. Be aware of your feelings. Especially try not to presume that other people aren't going through the same thing as well. And, keep that in mind, be it you're going to the shopping centre, small gestures like a smile, empathy, understanding. And just giving people space really. Definitely, if you feel something is off with yourself, feel free to open up to other individuals, and journaling can be a very good thing. And if it is a very painful thing, you can use music to actually raise your vibration. Definitely from the solar plexus, we do try to balance that when we have triggers, especially if we're lacking in creativity or motivation. The lower chakras will be hit, but also the third eye at this point. So keep that in mind when you're trying to deal with this. So one of the thoughts was definitely through the Scorpio polarity is these deep emotions to do with endings. Almost bittersweet nostalgia can potentially be coming up. Yes, there is disillusionment, but it is to show us a brand new chapter, and this in the long run is going to be a more positive thing than a permanent negative thing. But definitely don't keep your vibe down. Feel free to open up to other individuals. You may very well find that they, like you, are going through the same. Love and light. Take care, and I hope this helps.